today's episode, we will be going over some of the best highlights from the matchup between T1 and G2 during the knockout stage of the 2024 MSI. Without further ado, let's dive straight into the action.
Of the cooldown left on his flash, but he can just dash across the wall. Grub's taken by Owner. Caps no shockwave, remember? We saw it burnt a moment ago. Yike. Hits a Void Seeker, but Caps is down to 150 HP.
Super Poppy game notwithstanding, they've been able to excel.
I mean, Faker's looking much more comfortable now.
All these tunnels. I love Rek'Sai.
Carrier, level 6. Mickey very far behind in terms of XP. All the other objectives are going T1 to 8. G2's
is taking the 5th, 6th Grub for T1. And they also got the first rate. Neutral control very much in T1's favor in this game so far.
Oh, completely. And you can see advantages gained in mid.
Anyway, doesn't really matter whether he goes to his turret or the tunnel. We do see Carrier.
Tempered Fate, Caps side steps, Cosmic Binding, Caps side steps that too. Magical Journey in by Carrier. It feels like one of those, I missed everything, you have a go, Owner. And Owner decides against
Owner's
going
like,
forward.
I'm good. Let me
Summer,
be.
though, down to half HP. Faker does have the flank position here. No Emperor's Divide, remember, as Owner goes in. Crescent Guard, flash away from the Chain of Corruption. Immediately, Yike and Caps try to dive on a Faker, but Hun Summer's already fallen. Hostile takeover, lands on 2 First Blood. Goes over to T1, they find a second. The Cosmic Binding from Carrier is just sublime, and now Caps knocked up, tries to flash, but there's no way he's getting away from Owner today. Or is he? As he continues to walk away, has to dodge, the wind becomes lightning. Owner gonna tank the tower. Audacious charge is enough as Yike falls as well. It's 4-1 T1.
And just like that, T1 blow the game open.
Opportunity knocking for Gumayushi.
Oh yeah.
The lethality already with that serrated Dirk as well. And now G2 very much in a hole. T1, this is kind of more of what we expected from them in this series. Getting out to an early lead, 4,000 gold their advantage. And the question for G2 is how
Broken Blade not only able to nearly have as much of an impact when it comes to setting up for these objectives, as he needs to match one of T1's solo laners in a side lane. We're looking at bounties on the board already here, and this slower pace, seemingly T1, at least for now, benefiting the most. And even though Faker did take a death there, I think we are seeing him, as you actually we talked about this a little bit coming into today, Veddy, Faker's champion pool, and it's so obviously his champion pool is as wide as league goes, but hold up.
Hits. Hostile takeover is going to be popped. Gumayushi's going to be caught in the back of it. Broken Blade with a flank position. Yike with a double knockup, but Caps not quite here yet for G2. The Tempered Fate buys a second. Carrier is going to be the first of all as G2 continue the battle. Faker in with the Emperor's Divide, but Faker low. Zeus on that front line though can tank for days. Broken Blade can't quite land the stun into the wall, but the shockwave. Pathmaker out. Zeus survives. Living Artillery just short. From G2, they find one, only Carrier falls.
Okay, so G2 actually win a fight there. The TP from Faker doesn't really result in much, and it opens up this mid tower. Some bounty gold will go back to G2 as they show
Getting him in a better position could have been big as Guma.
Gumayushi, no summoners on him. Chain of Corruption goes wide, and Guma's just down. Caps TPing behind as well. Drake up in a minute.
Himself overextended in mid lane and is collapsed on by G2. Crucially, they give that shutdown over to Hans.
Faker going in. Titanic Hydra, not enough. The shockwave onto Faker. Yike dashing away, but Owner's here and will happily accept that kill. Carrier with another Cosmic Binding. Hans Summer trying to close in from the side, but he knows that Owner's on his way. Caps falling low, but will manage to fight another day.
And just like that,
Still 4K in favor, and the Hextech Soul specifically is one that I don't think you can afford to give soul points to. Zeus alone here.
Doesn't have the ghost, has the Pathmaker. Steadfast Presence locked him up for a second. Broken Blade chasing in, Void Rush, Caps collapsing, Owner's on his way, but can Zeus survive for long enough? The all-out might not be enough as Caps lands a shockwave on 2, and now Owner with a bounty on his head in the middle of 3 members of G2. Caps flashes out of vision, and Owner has to flash away, collapsing though T1 come in. Gumayushi there first, Yike dashes away from the Chain of Corruption. Owner falling low, but the piercing arrow from Gumayushi never misses its mark. T1 find another.
Guma does it. Owner not dying could have, or rather Owner dying could have been a turning point. Zeus goes down. Now the question becomes, does T1 still get their way with this dragon? Setting up soul point here would be huge, and there was a lot invested to the top side by G2.
Faker secures a tower in the bot lane and gets
side, and not having a teleport available just yet, they are just going to give up the soul point. I understand for G2, but T1 going to be very happy about that.
G2 in the hole right now. 2 items on Owner, 2 ahead in terms of gold. He's just got piecemeal. Seeker's Arm Guard and the Void Staff on its way. Crypt Bloom complete for Caps. Will Be trying to get towards that Rabadons, but right now, T1 in the ascendancy, looking to take us to 5 games again.
Yeah, it's a throwaway, Harold. It's a charge.
Yeah.
Good enough.
They get what they wanted.
Making scene here.
TP.
Behind. Hansama has 2 items. Yike goes in. They look for Owner first. Crescent Guard pop
Gets
by
no flash.
him. Broken Blade might go for Guma. Can knock him into the wall. Carrier though is going to spot him. Steadfast presence going down as the Sundisk is used. Flash from Mickey with a hostile takeover, but it only lands onto the Azir. Yike trying to do what he can in the middle of the fight. His owner's already down to half HP, but Yike and Mickey and G2 have to retreat because gold from Carrier. The shockwave only lands on one. It's Owner, not the target that G2 wanted. And Faker has had enough. He slides G2 into the waiting moors of his team as T1 look to take us to match points.
Oh, this is the classic T1. You think you're fine? The geometry of that fight with the Bard, the TPs. But in the end, at the very least, they're going to get the inhib. But knowing them, I'm feeling it, they're going to try and bring us to back-to-back silver scrapes.
There is something inevitable about Faker. There is something indomitable about T1. Mickey comes up alive, 8 seconds on Hansama. No minion wave here for T1, but they have the might to try and help out. The wave about 5 seconds away. Hansama will respawn in time. T1 take the gate out and have a little patience.
They were so alive, members remain alive, and the fight was so disconnected. G2's Hansama was nowhere to be found. He couldn't land the damage. The shockwave was barely impactful. Caps? He completely whiffs the shockwave, doesn't even send the ball over. Another to add to the list of Caps away at this tower.
There have been 9 5-game series in MSI history. We might get 2 in a row. In fact, I think it's pretty much certain now as T1 push in for the top lane inhibitor. G2 have half a Nexus tower to try and defend. Broken Blade, Steadfast Presence will stop Owner's engage. Gumayushi down to half HP. Zeus pulled back with a handshake, but he's tanky enough. G2 looking for any last vestige of hope. Sending up prayers. Looking for a miracle. Broken Blade finds one perhaps as Owner's locked up. He flashes the wall. All they're going to do is buy a little time here. But time is swiftly running out. Kronos himself is playing for T1, and Faker goes in again. Stopwatches the tempered fate from Carrier. In fact, the Sarima slide was not enough. The shockwave from G2 will do nothing as T1 assert their dominance on the series and take us to silver scrapes.
These were some of the best highlights from the MSI 2024 Knockouts matchup between T1 and G2. Which moment was your favorite? Let us know in the comments below.